Alright guys, what's up? I'm back. My name's the gentleman, or you can call me boom bada boom 12. But yeah, let's have some fun. So free code camp, we're back on this bad boy again, just like from last time. We were working on HTML. Today we're gonna be working on the basics of CSS, and it looks like that we're gonna be styling our cat photo app. Since you guys can see here. So, introduction to basic CSS. Cascading style sheets is what CSS stands for. We tell the browser how to display the text and other content that you write in HTML. Note that CSS is a case sensitive, so be careful with your capitalization. CSS has been adapted by all major browsers, allowing you to control color, fonts, positioning, space, sizing, decorations, and transition. There are three main ways to apply CSS styling. You can apply inline styles directly to HTML element with the style attribute. Alternatively, you can place CSS rules within style tag in the HTML document. Finally, you can write CSS rules in the external style sheet, then reference the file in the HTML document. Even though the first two options have their use cases, most developers prefer external style sheets because they keep the style separate from their HTML. Anyways, blah 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 blah. This is too much reading, so this is what we're gonna be going through. So let's have some fun and actually get some work done. Go to the first lesson. Alright, so back with our cat photo app. What's up, Mr. Kitty Cat? Basic CSS. Change the color of text. Let's change the color of some text. We can do this by changing style of your H2 element. The property that is responsible for the color of the element's text is the color style property. Here's how you would set your H2 text to set the color to blue. Style color equals blue. Change to H2. Alright, so H2, where are you, bad boy? Right here. So what we are doing right now is pretty much doing an inline style tag, or like really inline, or style tag in declaration. So we are declaring the color of this to be red. Yeah. And then we're finished. And we don't want to save, and we run and we finesse. Okie dokes. Basic CSS. Use CSS selectors to style elements. With CSS, there are hundreds of CSS properties they can use to change the way element looks on your page. When you enter style color red cat photo, oh wow, you are styling the individual H2 element with inline CSS, which stands for cascading style sheets. There's one way to specify the style of an element, but there are a better way to apply CSS. At the top of the code, create a style block like this. Note, inside the style block, you can create this like this. This will make it so all of the colors are going to be red. Note that it's important to have both opening and close curly braces. You need to make sure that your element's style definition is between an opening and closing style tag. Finally, be sure to add a semicolon at the end of each of your elements. Delete the H2 element attribute and instead create a style CSS. Add the necessary CSS to turn all elements blue. Cool. So they want us to delete this. No more red. Hasta la vista. Now let's create a style tag. Okay, guys. Also, I would like to say I'm sorry if there's any background noise. I currently am living in a place where there's construction being pretty much created at the same time. I am having my window open because it's kind of hot in my room. And yes, I'm very sorry. But hey, we all have to get through something somehow, somewhere. So if you guys just create a style tag up above, H2 color equals blue, cat photo app, run the test, boom shakalaka. I really hope you guys are following me along on this journey. You guys are on the third thing right now with me. We are about to read through this again. Classes are reusable styles that can be added to HTML. Here's an example. So a class starts with a dot. You can see that we create a CSS called blue text with style. So you could apply class. Excuse me. I'm so sorry. I had to yawn. Wow. I feel like a jerk. Anyways, let's see. inside your style element, change the H2 selector to .red text. So we want this to be called .red. So we are creating a class calling it .red, and update the color from blue to red. So instead of having blue text, it's gonna have red text. And now we want to give it to our H2 element. So we write class equals quote red text. Did it work? Oh, yes, it did. Ask me later. I'm sorry. Classes allow you to use the same CSS styles on multiple HTML elements. You can use this by applying your red text class to the p tag. So we can apply to the first p tag. So that was weird. So this is very weird. Class red text. Run. She works. Font size is controlled by the font size property, like this. Inside the style tag, you want to put red. Inside our red text, create an entry for p elements and set. Oh, inside the same style tag. So we want to put, they're telling us to do it like this. That's what I am thinking, right? And what is that, 16 pixels? Cool. You can set which font an element should use by using the font family property. For example, if you want to set your H2 elements font to sans serif, you would use the following CSS. Font family. Make all of your P elements use monospace font. So you said all of my P's. All of my P's are going to have a font family of monospace. Cool. Wow. Man, guys, I don't know what's going on with me. I just yawned for the second time. Anyways, in addition to specifying common fonts that are found on most operating systems, we can also specify non-standard custom web fonts for use on our website. There are many sources for web fonts on the internet. For this example, we will focus on the Google Font Library. Ooh, this is a link to Google Fonts, but we're not going to click on it because we don't want to go to Google Fonts. So let's go ahead and import it and apply Google Font. I'm so sorry. Note that if Google is blocked in your country, you will need to skip this challenge. I'm dead. Anyways, this is how we would link a file, link a Google's font, I guess. Now you can use the lobster font in your CSS font family. So this is how it'd be, font family, and then the font that we want to use. And then if we can't get that font to load, then it will load the second one in command. Oh, right here, yeah, fallback. Family names are case sensitive. For example, you need quotes to use the open sass, but okay, so you need quotes if there are spaces inside and no quotes if no space. So create a font family CSS rule to ensure that we are able to use. No problem. So we are gonna add this up above. Going back in here, and we want to allow our H2s to have a font family of lobster, capital L, yes, lobster. Oops, and boom, very cool. There are several default fonts that are available in all web browsers. These generic font families include monospace, serif, and sans serif. Which one font isn't available, you can tell the browser to degrade to another font. For example, if we want an element to use Helvetica font but degrade it to sans serif font, when Helvetica isn't available, you will specify it as follows. Yes, this is exactly how I told you before. To begin, apply the monospace font to the H2 element so that now it has two fonts, lobster and monospace. Okay, so monospace, oops, don't do this. Okay, so now comment out the import, commented, and you guys can see that just happened. And do we run? Yes, we do. Alright, so CSS has a property called width that controls an element's width, just like with font. We'll use pixels to specify the image's width. For example, if we wanted to create a CSS called larger image that gave HTML elements the width of 500 pixels. I'm sorry, I just yawned. Alright, so we will create a class that says larger image and give it a width of 500. Create a class called smaller image, so let's do it like right here, or right here. So this is going to be called smaller image. And we're gonna make it so its width is equal to 100 pixels. Does it work? Run this code. Oh, your browser zoom should be at 100. What does that mean? Oh, your image element. Alright. Where is it? Right here. So we give this a class of smaller image. Boom. There we go. Alright, so CSS borders have properties like style, color, and width. For example, if we want to create a red 5-pixel border around an HTML element, we could use this class. Create a class called thick green border. Alright, so let's create a class called thick. Green border. And it should have 10 pixels. This class should add a 10 pixel. So we're gonna do border width equals 10 pixels. We're gonna give it a border style of, what is it, solid, and border color is going to be green. Alright, remember that you can add multiple classes. So now we want to give this class to the image. So boom, where is this image? Right here. So now we will give this a smaller image. Or, wow, I'm so silly. It's thick green border. Very cool. Alright. I'm very sorry if you guys hear a horn in the background. But yeah, your cat currently has sharp corners. We can round out the corners with CSS property called border radius. You can specify a border radius with pixels. Give your cat photo a border radius of 10 pixels. Okay. This challenge allows multiple possible solutions. You may add it to border radius. Yeah, I think I'm just gonna give this a border radius and it's 10 pixels. In addition to pixels, you can also specify the border radius using percentage. So instead of 10 pixels, I guess let's give it 50%. Now it's a circle. That's actually really dope. Awesome. You can set an element's background color with background color property. For example, if you wanted an element's background color to be green, you put this within your style element. Create a class called silver background with the background color of silver. Assign this to your div element. Okay, so we're gonna create a class, call it silver background color. It's going to be silver, and then we're gonna give this to our div. Class of silver. I really don't like the noise outside. Like, it's really getting annoying, and I'm over here like, why? Silver background, cool. In addition to classes, each element can we give. Oh, can't even speak. I'm gonna give me a sec. I'm so sorry about that, guys. Okay, now I'm feeling a little bit more comfortable, maybe. Dang, that noise outside is still annoying. So, in addition to classes, each element can also have an ID attribute. There are several benefits to use ID attributes. You can use an ID to style a single element, and later you can learn that you can use them to select and modify specific elements with JavaScript. ID attributes should be unique. Browsers will enforce this, but it is widely agreed upon best practice, so please don't give more than one element the same ID attribute. Here's an example of how you give your H2 element the ID of cat photo app. ID equals cat photo app. Give your form a ID of cat photo form. So we just give this an ID. We're going to call this cat photo form. Cool. One cool thing about ID attributes is that, like classes, you can style them using CSS. However, an ID is not reusable and should only be applied to one element. An ID also has a higher specificity than a class. So if both are applied to the same element and have conflicting styles, the styles of a oh my god, now the cops are coming. Guys, I'm sorry. Here's an example of how you can take your element with ID attributes of cat photo element and give it to the background color of green. Alright, note that inside your style element, you will always reference the dot. You will put a reference of hashtag in front of their names if it's an ID. So if it's a class, it's a dot. If it's a ID, it's a hashtag or author port. So try to give this form background color. Okay. Alright guys, so I'm so sorry. I guess like the cops are not, but I hear something in the distance, and I just wanted to let you guys know so you guys don't think I didn't hear it or something like that. I like to be dramatic. I guess you can say background color of green. It looks nasty. Let's put our cat photo app away for a little while and learn more about styling HTML. You may already notice this, but all HTML elements are essential little rectangles. Three important properties control the space that surrounds each element: padding, margin, and border. An element's padding controls the amount of space between the element's content and its border. Here we can see the blue box and the red box are nested within the yellow box. Note that the red box has more padding than the blue box. So, what the hell did I just... I'm so sorry, excuse my language. You can see that there's a blue box and a red box, and it's nested inside a yellow box. Yellow box has the red box and the blue box. And the red box has more padding, more space inside than the blue box, correct? When you increase the blue box's padding, it increase the distance between the text and the border around it. Yep. Change the padding of your blue box to match the red box. Okay, so blue box needs to have a padding of 20. And boom. So when we add when we add padding, it adds more space between the thingies. Interesting, I guess. Padding is inside, margin is outside. An element's margin controls the amount of space between an element's border and surrounding elements. Here we can see that the blue box and the red box are nested within a yellow box. Oh my gosh, okay. Note that the red box has a bigger margin than the blue box. Make it appear smaller. When you increase the blue box's margin, it will increase the distance between its border and surrounding elements. Change the margin of the blue box to match the red box. So the blue box's margin is more. So you tell me if I change it to 20, it's the same. 30 is smaller. 40 is smarter. 50 is small. Oh, so it's the content around. So if it's 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 50, 40, 30, 20. Sorry guys, that's just something that I wanted to just look and clarify for myself. I don't know. An element's margin. Try to set the margin to a negative value like the one for the red box. Change the margin of the blue box to -15 so it fills the entire horizontal width of the yellow box around it. Alright, so blue box class should give elements. Alright, so blue box should give, change the margin to -15. -15, -20, -30. What is this? Is this making it bigger? Moving the margin. So it just moves the margin up pretty much, right? If you set elements to a negative value, the element will grow larger. Ah, yes. So positive makes it smaller, negative makes it bigger, because that's what we just accomplished in our lesson before. Okay, so sometimes you want to customize an element so that it has a different amount of padding of each side. CSS controls the padding top, right, bottom, left. Give the blue box a padding of 40 pixels on its top and left side and only 20 on its bottom and right. Okay, we're blue box. So it's saying that there's also another way, but I guess we can just write it out together. Padding top, they want it to be 40 pixels. Padding left, they want it to be 40 pixels. Padding right is going to be 20 pixels, and padding bottom is going to be 20 pixels. Cool. And CSS allows you to control. Sometimes you want to customize an element so that it has different margins on each of the sides. So this is pretty much the same thing like padding and margin. So give the blue box a margin of 40 on its top. Where's the blue box? So margin top is going to be 40 pixels. Margin, I don't know why there's so much noise. It's killing me. 40 pixels. More. I mean, cause like I don't know. I hate when there's construction right outside the house, and all they do is just hit and hit and hit. I'm like, dude. And sometimes it happens at nighttime, and I'm over here trying to sleep, and I can't sleep. It's annoying, man. But it's whatever. I hate how they just. It's not cool. They should pay us to hear their racket. I'm playing. Alright, so margin, bottom. Cool. But if, I don't know. Why is it like that? Oh. There we go. Interesting. Alright, so instead of specifying elements padding top, alright, so this is what I was gonna say. We can do it like this. So like use the clockwise notation for the blue blocks. So what do we want to do? Padding of 40 pixels on its top, 20 pixels on its right, 40 pixels on its bottom, and 20 pixels on its left. That's what it wants us to do, right? Oh, top, and it's like top and right and this and this, right? 40 on its top, 20 on its right, 20 on its right, then 20 on its bottom. Yeah, I don't know, it just looks different. But I read the directions correctly. Ha ha ha. Okay. So use the clockwise notation to give the element blue box a margin of 40 pixels on its top and left, but okay. So margin is going to be 40 pixels on its top and 20 pixels on its right, 20 pixels on its bottom, and 40 pixels on its left. Cool. Alright, so for this challenge, we're gonna do an attribute value. We're gonna style one of the buttons. Very cool. Wow. Oh, sorry guys that I'm yawning and I'm trying to get through this. And people are talking to me and I hate it kind of. But hey, it's only like 10 a.m. Ha ha ha. Alright, so you will be adding ID or class attributes to elements that you wish to specify styles. These are known as ID and class selectors. There are other CSS selectors you can use to select custom groups of elements to style. Let's bring out the cat photo app again, practice using CSS selectors. For this challenge, you will use the attribute equals value attribute selector to style the checkboxes in cat photo app. This selector matches and styles elements with specific attributes value, for example, and the following code, the margin of all elements has an attribute. Okay. Pretty much this is how we want to style buttons or anything that has a type. So what does it want us to do? So we want to give this a type, or open bracket type equals, give this to checkbox. So we want to give that a margin of 10 pixels on the top and 15 pixels on the bottom. Wow, so look at that space. Very cool, very awesome. Run the code. Oh. Okay, I guess I did it wrong. 0 pixels and 0 pixels. So top, right, bottom, left. Understanding absolute versus. Do you hear this, guys? I'm getting annoyed now. The latest several challenges all set element margins or padding with pixels. Pixels are a type of length unit, which is what tells the browser how to size or space an element. In addition to pixels, CSS has a number of different length unit options that you can use. The two main types of length units are absolute and relative absolute units tied to physical units of length. For example, in mm referred to inch and millimeters, respectively. Absolute length unit approximate. Honestly, guys, I'm just gonna stop here at the basic CSS. I'm only gonna do this for 30 minutes because it's Valentine's Day. I got things to do, and I wanted to do this quick little workout. And this morning I already did like a mini project, if you guys followed along. And now we're talking about a little bit more about CSS. So I'm just gonna stop here for today. And yeah.